Okay, so that whole go to college, get a good job thing,
Mm.
it's feeling kind of outdated, don't you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people listening are probably here because they're like,
Yeah,
there's got to be something more,
totally.
more than just following the traditional path.
Exactly. Like, you're looking for success on your own terms.
Yeah.
So, in this deep dive into the education of millionaires,
Yes. This is a good one.
we are going to unpack how to do that.
We're going to challenge some ideas
Yeah.
about what it takes to succeed
Totally.
using Michael Ellsberg's insights. And, it's not even just about the money.
Right.
It's about mastering those real-world skills,
Yeah.
the ones that self-made millionaires learned
Yeah.
without even needing a fancy degree.
And there are some real jaw droppers in this book
Oh, yeah.
that make you question everything.
Totally.
So there's this anecdote about a Harvard MBA
Okay.
applying for a $10 an hour job,
Mm-hmm.
posted by a college dropout.
Oh, wow.
I mean, talk about a reality check, right?
That is such a good story.
It flips the script.
It does, and it highlights Ellsberg's core argument.
Yeah.
There's this growing disconnect between traditional education
Uh-huh.
and what it actually takes to thrive out there in the real world.
Right.
He actually compares a traditional college degree to a gumdrop
Wow.
in terms of practical value.
Ouch. That's got to sting a little bit
Yeah.
for some folks out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's something people have been saying for a long time.
Yeah. And Ellsberg's not the only one saying this.
No, absolutely not.
You've got folks like Sir Ken Robinson, the education revolutionary,
Yes?
had that famous TED Talk where he
Yeah.
basically argued that
Mhm.
our current system seems more focused on just
Right.
churning out professors
Yeah,
than actually equipping people
exactly.
for this diverse range of careers that are out there.
Totally.
So then the question becomes,
Yeah.
how do we equip ourselves
Right.
for success in this new landscape?
That is the question, and that's where Ellsberg's 7 key success skills come in. These are the skills that self-made millionaires mastered outside of the classroom.
Right.
They form like the core
Yeah.
of this different kind of education,
Yeah.
one rooted in practicality and real-world application.
Okay, so give me the rundown. What are these 7 skills?
Okay, we've got the art of earning a living,
Okay.
persuasion, the psychology of sales,
Mm-hmm.
networking, what Ellsberg calls connection capital,
Okay.
and then investing, technology,
Mhm.
and something called bootstrapping.
Right. So it's almost like he's giving us a syllabus
Totally.
for this course
It is.
on unconventional success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all of these skills kind of
Yeah.
build on one another, too.
Right.
Let's take the art of earning a living, for example.
Okay.
It's all about finding that sweet spot
Uh-huh.
where your passions and your income, they kind of align.
Yeah.
It's not about, like, sacrificing your dreams for a paycheck or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's about making your meaning work for you.
It's about being strategic.
Yeah.
So how do we find that sweet spot, though? I mean, does Ellsberg give us, like,
Well-
roadmap or something?
He lays out a 4-step plan
Okay.
that really resonates because
Yeah.
it's not about, like, overnight success.
Right.
It's a process.
It's a journey.
Yes. And the first step is really all about getting financially stable.
Okay.
And any job that helps you do that is a win.
So no shame in that survival job
Exactly.
while you're figuring things out.
Exactly. No shame at all.
They're building that foundation.
Yeah. And the goal of that initial stability
Right.
is to create flexibility. Flexibility for experimentation.
Yeah.
Time is so valuable
Yes.
in this phase.
Absolutely.
Then comes the fun part.
Yeah, the experimentation,
Yeah.
dipping your toes in, seeing what sticks,
Exactly.
starting small,
Mm-hmm.
low risk.
That's right.
I mean, Ellsberg himself used this approach.
He did.
He went from broke writer to successful author.
That's right.
Proof that the plan can work.
Absolutely. And then that final step is full integration,
Okay.
where your passion and your work
Yeah.
just become one.
Yeah.
Not even a side hustle anymore, but like your life
Wow.
is aligned with your purpose.
I love that.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. I mean, that integration of passion and work sounds amazing.
Right.
But I imagine a lot of people listening might be stuck at step 1.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even get financially stable in the first place?
Right.
Because it's so easy to feel trapped, in a job that isn't fulfilling,
Mm-hmm.
even if it pays the bills.
For sure.
So how do you break out of that cycle?
Well, that's where the bootstrapping skill comes in.
Okay.
It's all about resourcefulness,
Okay.
like making the most of what you have, even if you're starting with very little.
So you're saying you don't need a ton of capital or investors to get going.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Ellsberg actually argues that
Okay.
bootstrapping can be an advantage.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, it forces you to be more creative,
Uh,
to focus on solving problems, delivering value
right.
without relying on outside funding.
It's like necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly.
When you're bootstrapping, you have to be scrappy.
You do. You have to be innovative.
Yeah.
You're constantly pushing yourself to
Right.
find better ways to do things.
And those skills, though,
Yeah.
like being resourceful, problem solving, that innovation, those are so valuable no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Whether you're an entrepreneur or not.
They're essential for anyone who wants to excel in any field, really.
It's cool how Ellsberg connects these seemingly random skills.
Yeah.
Like bootstrapping and the art of earning a living.
Totally.
Shows how it all kind of works together
It does.
to create this holistic approach to success.
Yeah. It's all part of the same puzzle. And speaking of connecting pieces,
Yeah.
let's talk about connection capital. That one really resonated with me.
Yeah, this is way more
It is.
than just your typical networking advice.
It goes so much deeper.
Yeah.
It's not just about collecting business cards at events.
Right. It's about
building real relationships.
Yeah.
You know, like genuine, meaningful relationships based on mutual trust and value.
Ellsberg talks about how self-made millionaires,
Yeah.
they're not just good at networking.
Right.
They excel at cultivating
Yes.
these deep connections
Yes.
with people who can help them achieve their goals.
And who they can help in return. It's like that whole idea of
Yeah.
your network is your net worth.
Exactly.
But it's more nuanced than that.
Absolutely.
He uses the example of Elliott Bisnow,
Oh, yeah.
who created the Summit series
Mhm.
by inviting all these successful people
I know.
on a ski trip.
So cool.
What a way to network. I know. What's so fascinating about it is that it wasn't about networking in a transactional way.
Right.
It was about creating an environment
Yeah.
where people could connect on a personal level.
Yeah.
Share ideas.
Right.
Build those lasting relationships.
So how do we go beyond the surface level
Right.
and start really building that connection capital?
Well, Ellsberg gives some really practical tips.
Okay, good.
And he emphasizes offering value first.
Okay.
You know, ask yourself, what skills do I have?
Mhm.
What knowledge, what connections that can genuinely help others?
Right.
He actually uses this great analogy.
Okay.
He says, think of yourself as a Swiss Army knife of advice.
I love that.
So you're the go-to person
Yeah.
for valuable insight
Yeah.
where successful people often need help.
And it could be anything. It could be marketing,
Yeah.
health,
Yeah.
finance, even spirituality.
The whole thing, become that person that people rely on.
And, it's not about
Expecting something in return right away.
Right.
It's about building that reputation as someone who's helpful and trustworthy.
Yeah.
Genuinely invested in seeing other people succeed.
And those relationships will pay off over time
They do.
in ways you can't even imagine.
Absolutely.
It strikes me that this whole thing about connection capital,
Yeah.
it's so closely tied to reframing our relationship with risk.
You're so right. They are interconnected.
Because if you have a strong network,
Mm-hmm.
that can provide support
Yes.
and guidance
Yes.
when you are taking risks,
For sure.
when you're facing challenges,
Yeah.
when you're even experiencing setbacks.
It's like having that safety net,
Yeah.
but it's even more than that, too. It's
Yeah.
the right connections can open doors,
Yeah.
provide valuable feedback,
Mm-hmm.
and help you navigate those ups and downs
Totally.
that come with pursuing anything worthwhile.
And Ellsberg argues that self-made millionaires, they actually view risk
Yes.
totally differently than most people.
They see it as an essential
Yeah.
part of the learning process.
So instead of being afraid of failure,
Right.
they embrace it as feedback.
Yes.
They understand that setbacks are inevitable.
It's all about how you respond to
Yeah.
them that determines your success.
It's about that resilience.
It is. It is. He talks about iteration velocity,
Uh-huh.
which is a term that Google popularized. It's
Yeah.
about testing ideas quickly, learning from those results,
Right.
and adjusting course as needed.
Like the faster you iterate,
Yeah.
the more you learn,
Yes.
the closer you get to figuring out
Exactly.
what actually works.
Yes.
I'm thinking about what Dustin Moskovitz,
Okay.
the Facebook co-founder,
Yeah.
said about their early days.
Mm.
They knew Facebook wasn't like a guaranteed success.
Yes.
But they were gaining such valuable skills along the way.
Yeah.
Even if Facebook hadn't taken off, they would learn a ton, build connections that they could use for future ventures.
That's the mindset shift.
It is.
It's not about betting everything on one idea.
Yeah.
It's about approaching your goals with that spirit of experimentation.
Right. Knowing that even if this one thing doesn't work out, the journey itself has value.
Exactly.
Which brings us to another essential skill. Cultivating that entrepreneurial mindset.
That's a big one.
And this isn't just about starting your own business.
No. It's about applying that approach to any field, to any endeavor, really. It's about being proactive, identifying problems, coming up with creative solutions. It's about taking ownership, being resourceful.
Right.
Always striving to add value.
These qualities are so sought after.
They are.
Regardless of what you do.
It doesn't matter if you're an artist.
Yeah.
An employee, a CEO.
I mean, Ellsberg even contrasts this.
He does.
With what he calls the employee mindset.
Right.
Which can sometimes be more passive.
Yeah.
Focus on just following instructions, avoiding mistakes. Which, there's nothing wrong with being a good employee.
Of course not.
But cultivating this entrepreneurial mindset can really help you stand out.
Absolutely.
Create your own opportunities.
Think of it this way. An entrepreneurial mindset is about being the author of your own life.
Ooh, I like that.
Not just a character in someone else's story.
Right, taking control.
Yeah.
Embracing challenges, shaping your own destiny.
Love it.
So how do we put all this into practice?
Right.
Because the education of millionaires, this isn't just some theoretical framework.
No, it's not.
This is about...
It's about action. It's not about just passively consuming information.
Right.
It's about actively applying these principles to your own life. Experimenting, learning from those mistakes.
Right.
Constantly refining your approach.
It's a journey.
It is.
So it sounds like the education of millionaires is advocating for like a total mindset shift.
It is, yeah. More than anything else.
It's about adopting that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Embracing lifelong learning.
Yeah.
And understanding that success is an ongoing journey.
I got it. It's about understanding that your education doesn't just end with a diploma.
Right.
It's a lifelong thing. And honestly, the most valuable lessons are learned not in a classroom, but through those real-world experiences, mentorship, that willingness to embrace risk and failure as opportunities for growth.
Like you're almost reframing what success even means.
Yes.
Breaking free from those traditional limitations.
Yes, exactly.
Creating a life that is both fulfilling and financially rewarding on your own terms.
He's empowering us to use self-education, mentorship, and an entrepreneurial mindset to take control of our own destinies, make a difference in the world, whatever that looks like for you.
And he weaves in these inspiring stories throughout the book.
He does.
Like the one about David Gilmour.
Oh, yeah.
Pink Floyd, the guitarist.
Yeah.
Almost starved as a young musician.
Wow.
Before achieving success.
I mean, talk about setbacks don't have to define you.
They don't.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the big names.
No.
He also highlights stories like Mike Faith's.
Oh, yeah. Mike Faith went bankrupt, but didn't let that stop him.
Right. Like use those failures as stepping stones.
Exactly. Bounced back even stronger, built multiple successful businesses.
Talk about resilience.
That's the key takeaway.
Yeah.
Success isn't a destination. It's a journey.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Like continuous learning, growth.
So if we had to boil it all down to one core message for our listener, what would it be?
I would say you have the power to shape your own future. You don't have to be limited by traditional definitions of success.
Forge your own path.
Yes.
Pursue those passions.
Yeah.
Make a meaningful impact.
It's not just a book.
Yeah, it's more than a book.
It's a call to action.
It is. To challenge the status quo.
Absolutely.
Embrace lifelong learning.
Develop those skills, that mindset.
To thrive.
Yes. And that's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive.
We are.
Empowering you with the knowledge, the insights, the inspiration to take action, create the life you desire.
So go out there and apply what you've learned.
Yes.
Pick one of those success skills and start implementing it this week.
Experiment.
Iterate, and don't be afraid to fail.
Don't be afraid to fail.
The journey is just as important as the destination.
Share your experiences, your challenges, those aha moments with us on social media. Use hashtag #DeepDiveMillionaires.
We want to hear from you.
We do. We're so excited to see what you achieve.
We are. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
Until next time.